What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to the Sports Talk on Top podcast. We're here. You can find daily videos Monday through Friday covering all the four major sports leagues, whether that be NFL. I'm kind of in a quiet zone, but today we made our, early season, award predictions for the end of the year. And then NBA, NHL, they're in a crazy free agency frenzy right now. A lot of signings that were there. But today's MLB segment, Nick, I think, we talked about for a couple of days, but we're a little bit over midway point through the season, so we're kind of get a feel what these teams are. And I figured, we both collaborated on a top 5 list of teams, most likely to win this year, World Series this year. And I want to, just say, we might have all 5 the same, might have all 5 different, in different orders at least. But I'm curious where you went. Do you want to start with 1 working down to 5 or 5 working up to 1?
Let's go, just for the suspense, let's go 5-1. Let's go,
Okay.
our number 5 favorite to all the way to the favorite.
Do you want to start first or me?
Yeah, I'll start first. A team that, is playing great baseball. All these teams are really playing great baseball. So it's just tough to, there's a few things that separate it. And for this one, mine is just experience. Like they very well could make it to the World Series and win it. And I have the Baltimore Royals at 5 simply because of their youth. Like just because I think we saw it last year. They were a 100-win team and got swept by the Rangers just because the Rangers, had those playoff guys and Corey Seager, Nathan Eovaldi, a playoff manager who knows how to win. So I think that all does matter in baseball. But maybe, getting it a little taste of the postseason last year will help the Orioles, but I just have them a little lower on my list simply because of their youngness. Like, Gunnar Henderson's 22 years old.
Yeah.
Adley Rutschman's like 26. And the pitching, I think they need to add a piece. I just don't – I know they have Corbin Burns. I trust Corbin Burns, but that's it in that rotation. I don't know if I can trust anybody else to start a playoff game unless they make a move. If they make a move at the deadline, they'll probably jump up to like 3 or 2 for me for a pitcher.
Baltimore smelling the disrespect. I don't mind that, though. I went in a different direction, though. Maybe call me a little biased. I don't care. I'm going with my Minnesota Twins as my 5th team. Made it to the divisional round last year before losing to the Astros. I think this year their offense got even better. A healthy Royce Lewis. Carlos Correa is playing much better, at least right now, than he did all of last season up until the playoffs. So Carlos Correa playing at a high level. Byron Buxton playing better than he did last year at the plate and is now in the field. Still one of the best defending center fielders in the league. You still got Pablo Lopez. You still got Joe Ryan, who's having a better year than last year, a below 1 whip. You still got Griffin Jacks, Johan Duran, one of the best 1-2 punch bullpens in the 8th and 9th inning you can get. This is a top 8 offense right now in runs scored, and their pitching is really good still. And I think they might even add an arm for, just to help out in the playoffs. But even then, Bailey Ober has been solid. I don't mind, their number 3 options. They've just been, a healthy Royce Lewis and Carlos Correa in this lineup, I think, is really good. Do I think, I think they're a sleeper team. I mean, last year they didn't, make it to the divisional round and almost forced a Game 5 and a winner-take-all game back in Houston. So it was kind of, it is what it is. But if you just kind of get in, you can see what happens. And, what I've seen from Carlos Correa in the playoffs, he's one of the best hitting players in the playoffs of all time in the last, or at least in like the last 25 years. It's crazy what he does. So maybe a little biased, but this is a good lineup that I love and has got some good pitching and just, a good mix. A team that just can get there. They start off the season 7-13, but have really turned their season around since then.
I think the Twins are a good pick to definitely make the playoffs. I just don't know if I just worry still about their pitching. I'm just a huge pitching guy, I guess, because that's always what I go back to. Carlos Correa is, the X factor because he's
they miss Sonny Gray.
But I just got to see it from the rest of the lineup and then from the pitching. I know, Pablo Lopez pitched good last year, but he can't start, 4 games in a series for you unless he's
Yeah. Although I would say, like, Pablo Lopez, Joe Ryan, I still have confidence in that. Pablo Lopez has like a 4.8 ERA, but his expected ERA is 3.8. So it's not great, but a 3.8 is much better. And it's kind of around where he was last year, like a 3.5. It's just he's had a lot of bad luck, but the starts are starting to come back. He's only given up 1 run in his last 2 starts. So who knows? And Joe Ryan has just been excellent. It does give up the home run ball a little bit, but still low 3s ERA guy, low 1 whip or below 1 whip, just a heavy strikeout guy. He just got a lot of batters out. So I like him. Nick, you're number 14.
My number 14. Call me a hater. You might agree with me on this one. I could get a lot of flack, a lot of whatever you want to call it. I have the New York Yankees at 4. I know a lot of people, especially Yankees fans, are going to have them at 1 or 2 just because Aaron Judge is very likely going to win MVP this year. He's on pace to put up better numbers than his MVP year 2 years ago. I think he will put up better numbers. Maybe not the home runs just because, it's tough to hit 62-plus home runs. But I think he's going to have like 140 RBIs and hit over 300. And I know they added Juan Soto. But yet again, I don't trust their pitching outside of Garrett Cole. I know their pitching has been good, to start the year with Luis Gil and Carlos Rodon, all those guys, but I don't trust them because the playoffs is a different beast. That's when the hitters show up. And if they were to match up in a series with, say, the Twins in the first round, I would feel very shaky if I was a Yankees fans, other than
Nick, it's the Twins and Yankees. We're getting swept.
No, but this is different. This is the playoffs.
No, it's not. It's not. It's
I
not.
know the Yankees have beat up on the Twins. I know, but they're due. Maybe I'll predict a Yankees Twins ALDS. Twins come out in 5 games. They
if we meet up
as the demon.
I really thought the 2019 team was going to do that.
That was the juice ball year. That doesn't count. That year doesn't count.
What do you mean it doesn't count? That was the greatest home run hitting team of all time, and they got swept out. It was just embarrassing.
They didn't have pitching. That's what I mean. You've got to play, 2 games in Yankee Stadium with a juice ball. You
didn't need pitching when you had the greatest offense of that season. And that's what I thought heading in. And you still had Barrios and Odorizzi, who were kind of just decent. But I do agree it would have been nice.
Either way, the Yankees are not my World Series favorite at all. It takes more than 2 guys in a lineup to hit, and we've seen Judge kind of get shut down in the playoffs the past few years, even after great years, just because. And maybe Soto adds a little bit of protection, but still, like I said, the playoffs are a different animal. That's when you're going to get the other team's very best, pitching, hitting. Yeah. That's why I'm saying I would like the Twins, because I think they have more playoff hitters with guys like Carlos Correa. It would just be a matter of who's going to outpitch the other guy, who's going to, put up a good start.
We'll see, man.
You'd have, Garrett Cole versus Pablo Lopez. I'd probably take Garrett Cole in that one. But Joe Ryan versus Luis Gil, I would be confident in saying Joe Ryan.
We'll see, though.
I know he's.
I'm not going to talk about the Yankees.
I know you won't, because I know the Yankees have tormented you guys. But that's just my thought on the Yankees. Is I don't think their pitching is there. Maybe if they trade for a guy, I know. There's been trade rumors for them making a move at the deadline for a pitcher. So if they do that, maybe they'll go up. But
fair enough.
I don't trust them.
Next team, I have at number 4 is the Guardians. People might think it's a little low, but they're the 1 seed right now. 1 seed in the Central, 1 seed in the American League. I feel like they just are missing something right now, and I can't quite know what it is. But Jose Ramirez, Stephen Kwan, they've had great years. Josh Naylor showed the power. But I don't know, just something about them just makes me think I can't trust them, just because mainly I don't think they were better than their 2017 teams or teams that didn't even make it as far. And they're good. Their pitching's solid, but just, I don't know. it's just a feeling. I think these other teams are going to be more talented, and they're going to show up in the playoffs more so than I
Yeah.
think.
I'm just going to jump to the 3 because that's who my 3 team was. So I'll just talk about them a little
Yeah.
more. I think you're definitely spot on with like the feeling of like this team is a very good baseball team, but it's like they need like a superstar. Like they don't have a superstar guy, which is kind of weird to see from, a team that's like in second place in the American League. It
Yeah.
just goes to show that how good their whole lineup is hitting. But I think they're either missing, another big. I would say, well, they do have a superstar in Jose Ramirez, so I'll take that statement back because he's arguably the best third baseman in baseball. And I'm saying that even as a Red Sox fan, where our best players are third baseman. Jose Ramirez is just unbelievably consistent, but I think they might need to add either a pitcher or a bat at the deadline, just because it is weird. It reminds me of like those Royals teams, or even the 2021 Red Sox, where they didn't have like a superstar player, but they were just a good team that like found ways to win games.
Yep, I agree. And we'll see what they do. But yeah, as of right now, I have them at 4. You have them at 3. We have the inverse of our 3 and 4. At 3, I have the Yankees. They haven't been playing their best baseball at all recently. But you still have Soto. You still have Judge. You still have a great team. Garrett Cole's just settling back in. Luis Gil's been really good. I would say, they're in a slump right now, but they're still a really good team. But they aren't a top 2 team because I just don't trust them the most. But they're still a really good baseball team, one of the best records in the American League, and just all in all baseball. They just got to take a break. They'll get hot again. I think, they're just getting worn out from all this. Anthony Volpe's had a much improved second season, so shout out to him. But yeah, I would just still a really good team. We both have them in our top 4. Just going through a little bit of a slump right now, but it doesn't worry me because in a 162 game season, you're going to go through slumps.
Yeah, you're right. The reason they've been as good as they are has also been a huge credit to Anthony Volpe taking a leap in his plate approach. He won Gold Glove last year, so you knew he was going to play good defense, but his ability to hold down that spot in the leadoff spot for Judge and Soto has been very, very big, and that's why Judge is putting up his crazy RBI. I think he's at like 80, like 82 or 83 RBIs already. We're not even at the All-Star break, which is just absolutely insane. But with that being said, I'll get into my number 2 spot. This is a team I know you hate on a lot.
I didn't put the Dodgers in my top 5. I'm sorry.
My number 2 spot is the Dodgers, and I know they never show up in the playoffs, but I can't ignore the talent they have, along with how good their best player is playing in Shohei Ohtani. Like it seems like he's now hitting a home run every other day, just like Aaron Judge. And I think once Ohtani gets a taste of the playoffs, he's gonna excel, because we saw him in the WBC, which is probably the closest thing to the playoffs that he's been in. He excelled in that. Like he was a great hitter in the WBC. So I think he's going to take off in the playoffs and kind of fill in for the guys that maybe retract a little bit in the playoffs. I know as much as I love him, Mookie Betts, he seems to take a step back whenever he plays in the playoffs. So
yeah,
I think Ohtani's going to fill that role, but it's just going to come down to if they choke it away again, because they seem to do it every year.
I think the Dodgers are a top 5 team. I'm not putting it in just because I don't believe it. Last year, absolute disgrace. Maybe Ohtani does, live up to that hype, but does anyone join? They got swept last year.
Right.
And, there's no excuse like Baltimore, like, veterans, or rookies, it's our first season, basically. Very disappointing. At number 2, I have the Baltimore Orioles. So you had them at 5. I think Baltimore is going to make moves to get another pitcher. But either way, I still love this team even more than last year. You gain that experience from the playoffs. I mean, at the time, it's embarrassing to lose 3-0 to the Rangers. Yeah, but the Rangers did end up going to the World Series and winning in 5 games. So this was a really good team. You just didn't know. And they get that postseason experience under their belt. They get their ace now in Corbin Burns, so I'm much confident in a Game 1 start. I think they even add another pitcher. They got some depth, though. Good bullpen. I'm not worried. I think Baltimore is going to learn from last year and take that next step. I think they are the best team in the American League.
Okay. I definitely hope, I'm rooting for Baltimore. I think a lot of people are rooting for Baltimore just because of how bad, they were for so long.
Yeah.
myself, you, a lot of people are pulling for them.
My hey, I'll be going to Baltimore.
Right, you're right, exactly. Your family's from Baltimore.
Yeah.
Some of your family is, but I think people also forget with that Rangers team they lost to. That Rangers team did not lose a road playoff game the entire playoffs. So I know it was kind of maybe a little bit of a forgettable, World Series and everything. Like it wasn't, two star-studded teams where like it was the Yankees and the Dodgers. It wasn't anything like that, but that Rangers team was really good last year in the playoffs. So,
yeah,
and Baltimore was just young. So hopefully they learn from it because I would love to see them make it to like even the ALCS would be fun because Baltimore gets bumping when that team is going good. So
exactly, it's a beautiful stadium. It was great being there for a couple of games last year, but unfortunately they fell short of their goal last year. But we'll see what they do this year. But with that being said, I think we have the same number one team. I don't want to jinx it.
You want to do a countdown? Do a countdown. I'll count from 3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1.
Phillies.
Yeah, Phillies. Shout out Bentley University baseball. Yeah, both have Phillies. Nick, I mean, there's not much to say. Great lineup, great pitching. They've been the best team in baseball so far, so I gotta give them that respect. They've been knocking on the door of a World Series, and I think as of right now, they're my favorites to win it.
Yeah, I mean, they have all the pieces to win in the playoffs, and they have one of the best playoff performers in Bryce Harper. I know he's hurt right now, but I think that's just a short-term thing. He's putting up close to his MVP numbers. I know Ohtani's probably the favorite in the NL right now, but I would say Bryce Harper is a close second or third. I know he's hitting 300. He's got 20 homers. He's holding it down at first base. And, that team is just full of playoff performers. Kyle Schwarber's a playoff performer. Trey Turner's been somewhat of a playoff performer. Their whole pitching staff pitches good in the playoffs, which is so huge for them. It doesn't matter if the Phillies get 85 wins or 105 wins. They're probably going to make it to the NLCS.
Yeah,
so,
agreed.
I think
that's Phillies. Credit to them how they were consensus one. They've been playing great. But with that being said, so that rounds up our top 5 teams most likely to win the World Series. Let us know in the comments who you agree, disagree with. This is, Jake, Nick's list. Let us know you agree with more. What would your guys' top 5 list be in the comments? But as always, make sure to like and subscribe in the comments. Enjoy, like Nick said, the Sandlot fireworks in baseball, 4th of July week. Just enjoy the games. This is the peak of summertime. So, make sure to go out, eat some good food, watch some good baseball, hopefully. And
stay safe. Don't be setting off fireworks in your hands or anything like that.
But with that being said, we'll catch you tomorrow as always with probably a Sox Talk and Tap video. But exciting time. But with that being said, peace out.